Hello everyone, this is Mr. Appel, and today I'm going to show you how to do long division with polynomials. So here we go. If you never did much long division with real numbers, this might be a little bit strange, but I'm going to walk you through an example and then hopefully you'll be able to do it yourself. So I am looking at an example here which you should write down so you can follow along. And what we're going to do is I'm going to divide this. What is that crazy thing? Alright, that's too crazy. I thought it'd be funny to use, but it's already annoying me. Let's try it again. I'm going to divide this crazy thing, my dividend, by this little expression, this linear binomial, 3x plus 2. So I'm dividing this by this and trying to see what happens. So the way we do that is we take the first term and the first term. So we're dividing the first term by the first term. That's how we start. So that's always step one is divide. So step one is divide. I'm going to try to organize this for you. So we just divide 6x to the fourth by 3x. So how many times does 3x go into 6x to the fourth? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, and x times x cubed is x to the fourth. So it goes in 2x to the third times. Step two is to multiply. So we multiply the thing we just got, by the whole thing here, the whole divisor. So that's sometimes a little confusing, but that's the way it works, and you'll see as we go. So 2x to the third times 3x plus 2, which is 6x to the fourth plus 4x cubed. And then we subtract. So step 3 is to subtract. So I subtract that entire expression. So 6x to the fourth minus 6x to the fourth, which cancels. That's 0. And in this particular one, 4x to the third minus 4x to the third also cancels, so that goes away. So I just keep going. So the next step is to bring down. So we bring down the next term. So the next term is the negative 15x squared. So I bring that down. And then we do the whole process over again. So step 1, divide. So 3x into negative 15x squared. So it's again the first term, always the first term, into the first term, or the term that we're working with. So 3x into negative 15x squared, 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, and x times x is x squared. Step 2, multiply. So negative 5x, the thing that we just got, so negative 5x multiplied by this whole expression, the whole dividend, the whole divisor. I always get those terms mixed up too, but you should know them. So negative 5x times 3x plus 2 is negative 15x squared minus 10x. Step 3, subtract. So you subtract that entire result from everything that's here. So negative 15x squared minus negative 15x squared, that cancels out, that's 0. Then we have, negative 7x minus negative 10x. Got to really be careful with the signs here. So negative 7x minus negative 10x, so that's negative 7x plus 10x, which is 3x. And then I'm going to bring down the next term, which is that plus 2. And I'm going to do it all over again. So 3x into 3x goes in one time. 3x times 1 is 3x, so plus 1. So 1 times 3x plus 2, we're at the multiply stage, is 3x plus 2. Subtract, and hopefully you can see what's going to happen here. Subtract, 3x minus 3x is 0, 2 minus 2 is 0. So I got no remainder. So if we divide and we get no remainder, then that means it went in evenly. It divided in evenly. And this is my answer. So when you divide 6x to the fourth plus 4x to the third minus 15x squared minus 7x plus 2 by 3x plus 2, you get 2x cubed minus 5x plus 1. And that is polynomial long division. All right, now we're going to look at another example. You see if this is written the way we're used to seeing it, as just a big fraction with a polynomial over another polynomial, but of course that's just an example of division. So let's first write this in long division form, because we're going to use long division to see what's going on here. And what you're going to notice is that there's a missing term. There's some missing terms. So if we're looking at this, the denominator here, there's an x squared, so it's quadratic, but there's no x term. And in the numerator, there's a to the fourth, to the third, to the second, but there's no to the first and no constant. So what we're going to do is put placeholders in there. And you're going to see as we go why that's important, but you do want to put placeholders there. So I'm going to go ahead now and write this as a long division problem, and then we'll work through it. Okay, so I went ahead and wrote it, and again, as you notice, I put in the placeholders. I put in the 0x, put in 0x, and then also put in placeholders, put in placeholders for, whoa, what's going on here? Sorry, I have a little technical difficulty. There we go. Placeholders for the missing x term and the missing constant term there. So let's go ahead and work through this so we can see what's going on there. So same process we did before. First is to divide first term by the first, so 3x squared into 18x to the fourth. 3 times 6 is 18, x squared times x squared, x to the fourth. Then we take that 6x squared and multiply it by the entire divisor. So 6x squared times 3x squared is 18x to the fourth. 6x squared times 0x is 0x cubed. And notice what that does is it makes the terms line up with the same number of with the same exponent. And that way when we add, we always have like terms lined up. And that's really why those placeholders are helpful. So 6x squared times 1 is plus 6x squared. So you see how the x squared lines up with the x squared over here. Okay, let's go ahead and subtract, which is our next step. 18x to the fourth minus 18x to the fourth is 0. 9x cubed minus 0x cubed is 9x cubed. So that placeholder also helps you kind of keep track of what to do. So I'm just moving along. 3x squared minus 6x squared is minus 3x squared. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring down the rest. You can just bring down one term or bring it all down. It doesn't really matter. It all comes down eventually anyway. Let's do it again. 3x squared into 9x cubed is positive 3x. 3x times 3x squared is 9x cubed. Times 0x is 0x squared. That's a little hard to read. Let me, whoa. My undo is not working, but that's okay. There. 3x times 1 is 3x. I'm going to go ahead and subtract again. So 9x cubed minus 9x cubed is 0. Negative 3x squared minus 0x squared is minus 3x squared. And 0x minus 3x is a minus 3x. So again, really careful with those signs. One missed sign can throw everything off. Let's do one more. 3x squared into negative 3x squared is a minus 1 and negative 1. Negative 1 times that is negative 3x squared. Negative 1 times 0x is negative 0x. And negative 1 times 1 is a negative 1. Again, I go ahead and subtract. That cancels. Negative 3x plus 0 is negative 3x. And 0 minus negative 1 is a plus 1. And now what you see is I have gotten down to my constant here. I've got a remainder, right? It didn't go in evenly. I wound up with a remainder here at the end. And so this is going to look a little weird, but our answer is going to be 6x squared plus 3x minus 1, remainder negative 3x plus 1. So it's negative 3x plus 1 over the original divisor, 3x squared plus 1. So as messy as it is, that's our final answer for this problem. We got a remainder, and so that's what it's going to look like. All right, I hope you enjoyed polynomial long division. Good luck.